What's going on with the XFL? What's the status of the 2022 season of the CFL? And how has the USFL fared as it stands more than halfway through its inaugural season? Listen to this episode of Before, Behind, and Between to get the latest tidbits on football during spring 2022.
Podcast starts now.
Spring is the time of year when football fans are usually tuning to some other game or watching older recorded games, but not this year. The CFL has just started its regular season with the announcement that games are available on TSN and RDS in Canada, as is customarily the case, with increased availability through the ESPN packages in the US market. Let's continue with updates from the CFL. First, new rules. This is common at the commencement of every new season. Rules are tweaked here and there, and some new ones are introduced. This year, the hash marks will be 9 yards apart as opposed to the previous 17. The no yards penalty increases from 5 to 15 yards. Kickoffs will start at the 30-yard line. And among others, a new rule has been introduced that will automatically eject any player who has received 2 unnecessary roughness or objectionable conduct penalties. A lot of other podcasts and traditional media have scoured over the proposed and actual changes to ratios, so we'll leave that topic to other forums. An Atlantic game featuring the Toronto Argonauts and the Saskatchewan Roughriders will be played in Nova Scotia on July 16. These games continue to test the Atlantic market for CFL expansion, for a team tentatively known as the Atlantic Schooners. The Grey Cup game this year will be held in Regina on November 20. The XFL is scheduled to start again February 18, 2023. League front office personnel are listed on the XFL website, as are 8 head coaches. The second incarnation of the league featured teams in Dallas, Houston, LA, New York, St. Louis, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and Washington, D.C. According to sources, teams will remain, or should I say start again, in Dallas, Houston, St. Louis, Seattle, and D.C., San Antonio, Las Vegas, and Orlando are apparently added to the roster. At the time of publication of this episode, no team nicknames had been announced. And the inaugural season for the USFL is breezing along. Recent news reports that players have voted to unionize. All games this season have been played in Birmingham, Alabama, either at Protective Stadium or Legion Field. The USFL features a 10-week season. Being in Week 9, this is nearing completion, and readying fans for the championship game on Sunday, July 3rd, to be held in Canton, Ohio. Finally, a bit of a different twist on football, fans can check out the Australian Football League. Although in North America, you'll probably want to set your PVR to record games given the huge time difference. Games played live in Australia can be broadcast at slightly inconvenient times like 3 a.m. for those of us who reside in the Eastern Time Zone. But this game is intense, and it's rough. Although different from North American football, there's still a lot for fans to enjoy in this game. This is an old league. It started in the 1800s. The AFL features 18 teams, with a season that runs during Australia's winter, in our summer. 4 quarters, or sometimes called terms, each with 20 minutes, as well as a halftime. The championship game is in September, and this game, which really is more like a festival, is a lot of fun to watch, with the bulk of the entertainment happening before the game instead of during halftime, which we in North America are more accustomed to. Although still early in the season, this year shows the Melbourne Demons and Brisbane Lions ranking pretty high. So 2022, so far, has been pretty darn good as regards the availability of televised football, and it only gets better a few months from now, when Monday night resumes its natural time for that weekly featured NFL game. You've been listening to Before, Behind, and Between, a production of Henley Point. Visit stephenchristiansen.ca or henleypoint.ca to learn more or to access archived episodes. This podcast is available through all streaming apps, including Apple Podcasts. I'm your host, Stephen Christiansen. Thanks for listening.
Production of Steven Christensen. Podcast complete.